It's funny how you meet people who are just brilliant, absolute wizards in their field.
Mhm.
Surgeons, maybe, or engineers,
Mhm.
scientists.
Right. Top of their game.
Exactly. But then you start talking about like personal
It's
finances.
a whole different story sometimes.
Right. It feels like a completely different skill set, one they maybe haven't quite clicked with yet. Perhaps you listening can relate. You're good at what you do, maybe great.
But the money side feels, well, a bit messy or
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah, less accomplished somehow. It's a strange disconnect.
It really is. It's a fascinating paradox. We often just assume, smart person equals good with money.
Right. Seems logical.
But the source we're digging into today really pulls that apart. We're looking at this relationship in the book, Building Wealth, Journey to Financial Freedom.
Ah, yes. With Kamal and Mwangi.
Exactly. Kamal, the brilliant teacher, and Mwangi, his friend, who's got well, this street smart financial sense,
Yeah.
a different kind of intelligence.
Definitely. And looking at them, their differences, it really helps us tackle that big question. Why do really smart people sometimes, well, struggle with money?
It's clearly not about raw brain power, is it?
No. So what gives? What's missing? We've sort of pulled out 5 key reasons from their story, from the book, that we want to explore with you.
Yeah, things ranging from the fear of missing out, FOMO,
Oh, that's a big one.
right through to something called complexity bias. Interesting stuff.
It really is. And the idea is by sort of understanding these pitfalls, maybe you can spot them in your own life, your own decisions.
And hopefully figure out how to navigate them a bit better. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Okay, first up, fear of missing out. FOMO. I think most people have felt this somewhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. And in finance. It can be really dangerous.
How so?
Well, it's that potent mix, isn't it? Wanting quick gains,
Yeah.
seeing others apparently succeeding.
And feeling like you're being left behind.
Exactly. That anxiety can just, steamroll over logical thinking.
Yeah.
The book uses Kamau as a perfect example. He hears about this gold deal at work,
Just office chatter.
pretty much, and he jumps in. No real research, doesn't understand the actual business,
Mhm.
just pure FOMO.
Wow. Risky.
Very. And the lesson there is crystal clear, isn't it?
Oh.
Doing your homework always, always beats just following the crowd because you're scared of missing out.
That really hits home. It's so easy to hear a friend talking about some sure thing
Uh-huh.
and feel that pull to just dive in without really getting it. The book even mentions a real stark Kenyan example.
The Telegram group one.
Yeah, someone lost, what was it, Kish, 100,000?
That's right. A Forex group on Telegram. Sounded amazing. People were buzzing.
And then poof, gone.
It shows how easily that fear can be, well, exploited.
Definitely. Which brings us to Mwangi's wisdom, I guess.
It does. His advice is just so tactical, simple, but incredibly powerful.
What was it again?
If you can't explain how the money is made, don't invest a shilling.
Right. Simple as that.
It's such a great filter, isn't it? If it sounds too good to be true, or you just fundamentally don't understand the mechanics of how it generates returns.
It's a massive red flag.
Huge. Just step back.
Such a solid, down-to-earth principle. Okay, so that's FOMO. What's next? The book talks about money personalities. That caught my eye.
Yes. This is really about how our sort of inbuilt attitudes towards money shape everything we do financially.
Our default settings, almost?
Kind of, yeah. The book paints Kamau as an avoider,
Meaning.
someone who just doesn't like dealing with money, hates talking about it, managing it, feels uncomfortable.
Okay, I know people like that.
Right. Whereas Mwangi is more of a planner. He thinks ahead, organizes things
So their basic personalities influence their financial habits.
profoundly. And understanding your own tendency. Are you an avoider, a planner, maybe a spender, a saver?
Yeah.
It's not about judging yourself.
No, it's about knowing yourself.
Exactly. Self-awareness.
Yeah.
That's the critical first step if you want to, manage your money better. Align your actions with where you want to go.
That makes sense. And it explains why they make such different choices in the story.
Totally.
The book even uses that Kenyan cultural example, the Harambes.
Ah, yes, the fundraising events.
Mm-hmm.
Very important culturally.
Right. But it contrasts someone being super generous there, giving a lot,
Yeah.
while maybe struggling to pay their own rent back home.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's that tension, isn't it, between maybe a personality trait like generosity or perhaps being an avoider when it comes to personal budgeting.
Absolutely. Our core traits really do shape how we prioritize, how we handle our finances day to day.
So what's the takeaway? How do you use that insight?
Well, the book actually suggests finding out your own money personality. It mentions a quiz.
Okay.
Just figuring out your profile spender, saver, avoider, planner, maybe something else. It's foundational. It helps you understand why you do what you do with money.
And once you know that,
Okay, you can start thinking about strategies. How do I work with my personality or maybe counteract some of the downsides? Makes sense. You need that awareness first. Okay, so we've got FOMO, money personalities. What about just, well, not knowing enough? Lack of financial knowledge.
yes, and this is where that smart person paradox really shows up.
Right, the difference between general intelligence and financial literacy.
Exactly. The book uses Kamau again. Brilliant teacher, understands complex physics.
Nail in the formulas,
Totally. But does he grasp compound interest?
which is pretty fundamental for building wealth.
Absolutely fundamental. That snowball affect your money, earning money, which
Yeah.
then earns more money.
Yeah.
He didn't quite get the power of it. It shows that being brilliant in one field doesn't automatically translate.
You need the specific knowledge for finance.
You really do. A
Yeah.
basic understanding of how money works that's non-negotiable if you want to build wealth.
It's a stark contrast. And that real life UK example drives it home too. The nurse.
Oh, that was a tough one. Sending money back home diligently.
For land, right. A solid investment, supposedly?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be, well, basically a scam.
Why? What went wrong?
Lack of basic checks and balances.
Hmm.
No proper documentation, no receipts, no real proof of ownership being transferred.
Ouch. All that hard work.
Gone. It just highlights how vital that practical financial knowledge is, no matter how skilled you are in your profession.
So you need to know the basics. What does Mwangi suggest here?
Again, very practical advice. Learn the fundamentals.
Like what specifically?
Things like interest rates, how they work for you when saving, against you when borrowing, inflation, how it eats away at your money's value over time, risk, what it means in investing.
Stuff you hear about but maybe don't fully grasp.
Exactly. And the point is, you don't need like a PhD in finance to get this stuff.
No.
No. Wangi's point is, you just need curiosity, a willingness to learn.
Okay, that's encouraging.
There are so many resources out there now, books, websites, courses to help build that foundation. It's very accessible.
Good to know. You don't need to be a Wall Street expert, just get the core concepts.
Yeah.
Right. Now, something else. I suspect this one hits home for a lot of high achievers. Analysis paralysis.
Ah, yes. Overthinking it.
To the point where you just freeze
Precisely. You analyze and analyze, wanting the perfect plan, the perfect information.
and end up doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly. The book contrasts Kamau and Mwangi beautifully here. Kamau spends 6 months researching a juice business.
6 months. Wow.
Yeah, spreadsheets, market analysis, planning every tiny detail, exhaustive.
And Mwangi?
Mwangi just goes out, buys a blender, and starts selling juice on the street corner.
Huh. Just like that.
Pretty much. He starts small, learns by doing, adapts as he goes.
While Kamau's still perfecting his plan.
Right. It's that classic perfection is the enemy of progress, especially with money and business. Sometimes just taking action, even imperfect action, is way better than waiting for some mythical, perfect moment that never arrives.
It really is. Getting bogged down in the what ifs.
Totally. Wangi's quote here is gold.
What does he say?
You'll never be fully ready, but you can be willing.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't it great? It's permission to start. You don't need all the answers. Just be willing to take that first step, learn, adjust.
That's actually really freeing. Takes the pressure off needing everything mapped out perfectly.
It does. Small steps, learning as you go, often the best way forward.
Okay. So that's analysis paralysis. The final one you mentioned was complexity bias. What's that about?
Yeah, this is a really interesting one, especially for, well, smart people.
Why them specifically?
Because intellectually curious people often find complex ideas more appealing. There's this unconscious bias where we think a more complicated solution must be, better, more sophisticated.
Ah, right. If it sounds complicated, it must be powerful.
Exactly. Even if a much simpler option is actually more effective or safer, we overlook the simple stuff sometimes.
Okay, example. How does this play out?
Well, Kamau again. The book talks about Sakado's savings and credit cooperatives.
Yeah. Common in Kenya. Pretty straightforward savings and loan groups.
Right. But Kamau kind of dismissed them. Thought they were too simple. Not fancy enough, maybe.
Uh-huh. So what did he do instead?
He got drawn into crypto mining. Sounded complex, high-tech, cutting edge.
And probably promised big returns.
You bet. And he ended up losing, what was it, Karish, 50,000.
Oof. Because he went for complexity over simplicity.
Essentially, yes. It's that allure. Beware the fancy, jargon-filled promises.